Welcome to the Woodpreneur podcast, the number one podcast for the business and marketing side of the lumber, woodworking, hardwood flooring, and sawmill industry. I'm your host, Steve from Acres of Timber. Each week, we feature various wood business owners and entrepreneurs from around the globe. We share their stories, paths, insights so that you can network, learn, and grow your own wood business. Thank you so much for listening. Now enjoy the episode. The Woodpreneur podcast is proudly sponsored by Acres CRM. Acres CRM is the wood industry's only customer relationship management software dedicated to helping you automate your sales and marketing so that you can focus on serving your customers and growing your business. You can visit acresoftimber.com to learn more and to schedule a demo. Once again, that's acresoftimber.com. Hey, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur podcast. It's your host, Steve, and today's guest is Yelitza Mora from BuildTX Solutions. How you doing, Yelitza?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me here. How are you?
I'm well. So we just met at a mastermind last week in San Diego, and I don't know how we sort of started talking about, but I said how I work with wood and lumber, and you said that you run a construction company. You do home renovations. And then when she showed me her brand, I was like, oh my God, you're not just like a normal, like you have like this lifestyle around you. And we started brainstorming a little bit about like how we could collaborate, and then, you know, lumber, and you do a lot, obviously lots of stuff with wood and other sort of material. And so we don't normally have construction workers or developers on, but ultimately, like the woodpreneur, you're a woodpreneur. You just, wood is one of the mediums that you use. So you're like, so for the wood community, I'm expanding a bit, right? And so and it's great to have sort of a different spectrum in the wood community. And I definitely think developers, contractors, renovators are definitely part of it. So why don't you tell everybody about like, how did you get started? And like to give us a background and give us the origin story behind BuildTX.
Oh, absolutely. So we started about 5 years ago here in Dallas, Texas, because there was a need. When we started the company, I was doing consulting before, and then I wanted to start investing in real estate. So when we try to find good and reliable contractors, you can say, we couldn't find any. It was just like horror stories. Everyone, have like this idea that contractors are terrible and they're going to go ahead and run off with your money and they're not going to do things the right way. So I told my business partner, whom is a civil engineer, I was like, hey, you have a lot of experience in the construction part of things. In Venezuela, that's where we're from, on the commercial side. Why don't we, collaborate? I'm really good at sales consulting, taking a look at the problems and creating the solutions. And you're really good at doing what you do, like, boots on ground, running the crews, making sure everything is supposed to go how it is supposed to go. And then, we see if we're a good fit for the community and for the marketplace. So that's how we launched the business back in 2017, I believe. And since that point on, it's been like crazy for us. Rapid growth. I mean, we're at a point where we're like, okay, we want to expand more. We need more people. And then we're like hiring new project managers and estimators and all of that good stuff. But that's how we started the business. And that was like the main idea of us, like, hey, there is a need. We have a good team in place. Why don't we just go ahead and test the waters?
So what was your background before? You said you did consulting and then
Yes.
You started investing. So like
I was a supply chain consultant. So
okay.
I'm very familiar with all the issues that we're having right now. So before, in my previous life, I was in corporate America doing supply chain consulting. So basically helping importers, exporters, and in different industries, move the freight and create a better logistics plan for their companies. That's what I did before.
And then investing was completely on the side.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That was like, okay, like everyone, it's like, okay, I'm in corporate America. You potentially could make good money. And then it's like, okay.
But you're not going to get rich. You're not going to get rich.
No. No, and then you start thinking, okay, I have to create some sort of cushion for, the years to come. So what's the best way? You look it up. You're like, okay, what are people doing? Like smart guys, investors and whatnot. They're like, okay, they invest in real estate in the stock market. And I was like, oh, I think real estate is fun. You have a hard asset, and I started like, okay, how can we flip houses? How can we buy rentals? And that's how we got into it. The issue.
So then you're like, okay, I'm going to invest some money. And then you started thinking about fixing and flipping. And then you started
Mhm.
doing that, right? That's what
Yes,
you were doing.
yes.
And then you're like, my God, the construction industry and the renovation industry for my own assets is it's not reliable. It's not good. It's people are shady.
Yeah,
there's no processes, no system, there's no brand behind it, right?
nothing
And then
is.
and then your friend who was a civil engineer who knew how to put together projects. So with your need and the desire, plus your friend, you created BuildTX.
Yes, yes. We created BuildTX, and then it was at one point it was like 100% ran and managed and operated by women. And now, of course, we have different guys in the team, like our fractional CFO, different project managers and whatnot. But it's like, yes, it was like women owned, operated. So we brought that to the marketplace, a lot of attention to detail. And at the beginning, it was kind of hard. We're in Texas. They're expecting that really tall, long beard guy. And so we would go there and they're like, okay, who owns the company? It's us. So it was fun. It was fun, and it has been an amazing experience for us.
What were those first couple of years like for you?
Tough. They were tough because I mean, you have to learn what the customer criteria is. What they're expecting, how to innovate, because we come from an industry that it's very set in their ways. It's like, this is it, this is what you get, this is what I offer, and whatever you want, it's not going to happen. So we come with a very refreshing, we will help you. You're my customer. I'll build you your home. I will guide you through the process. But at the end of the day, it's your home. And we want to make sure that whatever your product is what you want. So at the beginning, it was very hard to break that standard of, hey, I'm not like the rest. I'm not like the general contractor that everyone thinks we are. So now, and then that's what we started saying, we own a construction company. We have a construction company, and we don't refer ourselves as to general contractors, because it's like saying, which is nothing bad about that, but it's like saying I am a used car sales person or
Yeah.
something like that. It's
Yeah.
like that, like, no, I don't want to deal with that, right? So it was hard at the beginning, but then we started, our products are very nice. We have a lot of attention to detail. We have a very process driven company. Everyone is super knowledgeable. We execute really well. Our customer service is like the most important thing.
Yeah.
So past 2 years, I mean, it was just like boom for us, because there are groups of moms that talk about us. Women most likely make the decision.
Make the decision. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me how did you get the word out initially about your business? Was it like, did you only start working on your own stuff
No.
first? Or did,
So so it was funny because we had my sister, whom is part of the company as well. I was her, my business partner, and myself. And then we were like, okay, go into every group, every post, everything that you
Facebook
can
groups,
find.
Facebook
Yes,
group.
yes. Go everywhere, put our name out there. Hey, I'm looking for BuildTX. Hey, and that was it. I mean, we were like marketing nothing. It was just like literally like just like fishing, like, hey, face BuildTX, BuildTX, BuildTX. We built a really nice website. We have a nice, okay presence in Instagram back then. And then we kind of like, so when they looked us up, it's like, okay, it's girls, they have a nice presence, they do nice stuff. You're creating that proof of concept, like, okay, I feel comfortable, looking them up. And so that was it. At the beginning, it was just like putting on Facebook everywhere, just like every Facebook group with investors and homeowners that are looking for that service, and just put the word out there. So basically, people starting seeing our brand every day, and then someone used us, and then they put us again. So it just like started like going that way. It was very organic.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
That's amazing. And then how did you start to think about scaling? Was it more on the marketing end, or was it on the sort of people and product services? Like, which path did you start looking at? Like, okay, how can I, so once you got a couple projects underneath you, like, was it about like, okay, we need to grow our brand awareness, or did we need to grow our team, or do we need to add more products or services? Like, which direction did you
Both.
go?
So actually we took it back. So before we used to do smaller projects and, you know, and basically everything and anything that you can get your hands on because there's the need. And then we niche it down to we're only going to do mid to high end, full cart rentals, additions, and new builds. And we got really good at that. So
you
our
narrowed your focus
branding,
on who you are.
yes. So we narrow
Okay.
who we were, and that gave us an expertise, like, you know, like what you're saying, you become an expert in that niche. And that's what basically got us more business. So at that point, we were very word of mouth, organic growth.
So you honed in on your brand, right? Like you
Yes,
got very clear on your brand, and your brand
yes,
was like high-end luxury gut renovations and additions.
yes.
And so,
Mhm.
and then you knew exactly who was that type of person.
Oh, absolutely. We know who our perfect avatar is. So we were like, okay, we're going to niche it down. This is who we are. Those are the customers that we're going to go after. So they would tell their friends. Our brand was very solid, still is like, okay, this is what we do. This is who we are. And those are the customers that we're going to serve. And then, okay, we started getting more business. So we started growing the company, you know, adding little by little. We've added new project managers. We added new, designers, executive assistants, customer service support, and all of that good stuff. And now we're to the point where we're like, okay, we're going to crank it up on marketing because everything was super organic. We do have SEO and all of that good stuff, but everything other than that was super organic. So we're like, okay, we're at a point where we have this structure. Let's crank it up and take it all in because we want to expand more.
So I love that. A question that I have is that before you even knew who your avatar was there something internally you need to tell yourself in order to like sort of put yourself out there, and like what was the mindset that you needed to have? Because like, again, you haven't been in this as long, but you were serving a purpose. Like, was there like a mindset shift that you had to have when it came to growing and running your business?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like there's business for everyone, right? So at the end of the day, you have to believe in yourself, in the product or service that you're putting out there. And you have to say, okay, where and in which lane do I want to play in? I saw that we were playing on the lower end and it was very hard. It was very difficult. My guys are super skilled. They're really good at what they do. And you know, and it's very like my electricians are my electricians, my woodworkers are my woodworkers. And it's like, you know, they're passionate about that. So I couldn't compete on the lower end because it's very hard. And I'm like, there's no way that we're going to compete there. We will get to the higher end where people really know what they want. They're expecting quality. They don't care about, you know, of course they have a budget, but they're willing to play with that budget to get the quality that I was willing to put out there and that we put out there. So it was very easy for me to know, I'm not playing here. I will play here and we will dominate this area. So we're very like, okay, yes, we will dominate. We're the best. We have to perform like we're the best. So it was, can't play here. My guys are too skilled and too expensive. Let's just position ourselves here. And this is what we're going to do.
So what you're saying is that once you knew who you were serving, it gave you the confidence mentally to be able to pursue that path, right? Because you knew that based off of the market, that playing based off of a price, you were going to get a certain type of customer. But you knew that if you went towards your ideal target market, that the competition there isn't even that high, and you can use your competitive advantage in order to dominate that sort of niche.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's hard to get there. It's hard to get there because
no, that's hard. It's hard to get there. You know, I mean, if you don't sort of mind me saying this sort of stuff, but like I remember you said we talked a little bit about this. And so I'll say what I thought my vulnerability was in terms of being
Mhm.
able to serve a market,
Oh,
right? Like
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm serving my Woodpreneur community. I said that I had some limiting beliefs around being a Black person
Mhm.
in this space. And, you know, it's quite frankly, it's all white people, all white men. Um, and you know, I felt some like limiting beliefs as my ability to serve, and as soon as I started showing up as myself, in myself, as myself, serving this community, I knew that I could provide amazing value to the people I was serving. Were there any limiting beliefs that you had to go through in order to sort of reach where you are,
Oh,
like overcome?
absolutely, absolutely. And still, I mean, we still struggle because I mean, we're Venezuelan, we have an accent, we're women in a
Yeah,
male-dominated industry. But those are things that you just have to, love yourself for who you are and know that you add value. And
yeah,
at the end of the day, we
yeah,
have the customers in the forefront, and we're like, okay, I just want to make sure that whenever they get the product and whenever they move into their home and they see what we were able to do, they're going to be blown away. And it doesn't matter if I have an accent or if I am a girl or, if I'm not from here. It just matters that we perform, and that's all they care about. So I think that's more internal, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
hey, accept yourself and just go out there and the world is your, I mean, it's your oyster.
sure.
So there's so much opportunity for you to add value to that. Why not?
You know, and the other thing that I noticed on your Instagram and on your website is just like really like there's a, I mean, because I mean, you're a construction company, but you're kind of like it's like there's like this designy sense towards you, right? It's like this aesthetic. Like there's a picture of, you know, the white, clear, crisp white sneakers in front of some tile, right? Like it feels like a lifestyle brand,
Yes.
right? And I'm wondering, like, how does your community resonate with that? Like, how does it, you know, and remember I told you when we met, I was like, there's a picture of on your Instagram of like legit you and a customer wearing the same outfit. Like,
Yeah.
does that happen often? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, how did you make that conscious decision, or was it more organic to build this like lifestyle brand where you're literally attracting people like yourself? Because
Yeah,
that's amazing.
absolutely.
That's amazing. I mean, kudos to you, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
But I think it's like when you put it out there in the universe, it's like that's what you're gonna get. And majority of our customers are very drawn to who we are, how we run the business, how refreshing our designs are. So basically we want to attract the girls or the guys or the people that are like, oh, I'm looking at houses on Pinterest or Instagram for ideas, because those are the ones that they're going to admire and appreciate the ideas and the things that we bring to the table. Maybe we're not for everyone, because we're not. There are customers that don't feel comfortable with us because we're too trendy. We have a this brand, and that's what we do, and that's okay, because there is opportunity for everyone. But those customers, like the one that you're like, oh, dude, they're like, we were wearing the same thing, literally. Those are the ones that we like to attract, because they're fun, they're open-minded, they can go with the flow, and we're all about adaptation. Hey, this is what's cool right now, that was great, but maybe this is going to be more timeless and still fun and still beautiful. So those are the ones that we tend to attract, and that's why we built the brand that we built.
and what about the sort of sales systems? Like, so if a customer comes in for you, like what, like how do you sort of put them through the flows, or what's it, what, could you describe, like, you said you place an emphasis on customer service,
Mhm.
like how, what level of communication do you provide to your clients to sort of make them, because especially if you're going after a luxury market, like is it high touch or is it more personalized? Like how would you describe your sort of sales system?
So it's very personalized, right? And everyone's situation is different. I mean, I lead with equity. Let's build your equity. Let's go ahead and treat this as an investment, because at the end of the day, it is the biggest investment that you're going to have, right? So when I lead them in that way and in that regard, they appreciate it even more, because I'm like, okay, we can do this, this, this. You can get the house of your dreams, but you're going to be upside down. And I don't think that's a financial, like a smart decision. And they're like, oh, wow. So when I lead them through that, and I'm like, okay, let's prepare whatever we do, we have to make sure that you, as the homeowner, get the house of your dream. At least you break even, and then you get to enjoy your home. So that's how I lead. That's my, okay, this is how I'm going to help you guys.
So it kind of
And
sounds like you lead with, I guess, a signature style. I mean, it's like your value proposition is that the investment that they're making in you is an investment that they're going to reap reward
yes,
back. Yeah,
yes,
that's super smart.
it's
Yeah.
going to ROI on them. Because imagine this, some people, I mean, you have a home and you're like, well, maybe I see all these beautiful houses and I don't know, I mean, my house is fine. And then you're like, okay, I can go out there and find a fixer upper, and then these girls are going to help me first create the house of my dreams. Because literally, when you move into the house, it's like a gorgeous home with all the details and the touches and the design, and everything is custom designed and amazing. So they buy the house in a neighborhood that they want. Maybe they add square footage, because we're very high on adding value through, forcing appreciation, adding square footage, redesigning the home. And so they have the square footage that they want, the home that they want, and they get to build equity and then enjoy it for years to come. And then whenever they get to sell it, they take the equity, they live in a beautiful home, because most people fix their houses when they're gonna sell it. And I'm like, no, let's fix it in when you
Live
move
in it.
in, so you can live in it, invite your friends, have fun, and you don't get buyer's remorse. That was my problem. I would buy a car and then I'm like, oh, why did I? It wasn't a smart decision. And now I don't want my customers to feel that way. So I want you to make a, decision that when we give you the key, you're gonna love it. You're gonna tell your friends. You're gonna invite people over because you feel so proud of your home, and
Mm-hmm.
then you have equity in it. It's like a perfect combination.
So tell us, I guess, maybe we could use this opportunity to sort of brainstorm. Like you were saying, your building material, like your building materials, it's pretty hard to get right now. So like when you look at like lumber and wood, right, that you use in, like, what are you mainly buying? Like what do
Oh,
you,
I mean, everything we buy from everything that we do is custom, right?
yeah,
So the shelves are custom made. The vanities
cabinet,
are, yes, everything. Well, sometimes we do a mix in
yeah.
between, prefab cabinets and custom island, or prefab cabinets and prefab island, and then custom shelves, custom wood wrapping. So, I mean, everything that we buy, it's at a high demand right now, super high cost, and we were having supply chain issues. So, and on top of that, the lumber packages, because when we do an additions or new builds, that's basically you have to buy a lot of materials, from the decking, the sheeting, the floor systems if you're doing a second story
So
addition.
plywoods, two by fours, two by
Yes,
six,
everything,
everything.
LVLs, you name it. I mean, we build from scratch, we got the houses, we do additions, and then on top of that, everything that we do on the inside is custom. So custom shelf, custom wood wrap, hardwood floors that got affected too. Engineer hardwoods, not, but
Not so much, but like pure hardwood floors, those are hard to get.
yes, no, right now. So I was talking yesterday with the procurement team. Right now, it is not hard to get. It is very expensive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
15 days, that's how long they will hold it for you. So imagine if you have a project and then you're getting the takeoff, and then you get the pricing, but the project permits take 4 months. So in 4 months,
And by the time you actually need the flooring like it's going to take 6 months, right? In order for you to get ready to put the flooring in.
so yeah,
So it's not always going to line up. It's not going to always line up.
No, so it's a lot of creativity, a lot of talking to the customers and being proactive, creating, the right, now we're Venezuelan, so we're used to the hyperinflation and craziness and figured it out. So we're like, okay, I got this. I'm like, bring it on because I got it. But people here are not used to that. So it's like a big mindset shift.
You said we're Venezuela, we're used to hyperinflation.
Yeah. so we're like, bring it on, I'm ready.
So okay. So I'm thinking about like do your sort of framing materials do those need to be to code?
Everything.
Like,
yes, absolutely.
To like pressure treated, that sort of stuff.
Everything.
Okay.
Everything is up to code because you have to pull permits and then you get like the
but I mean stairs need to be designed up to code, but the wood, they don't need to be like certified, right? Like shelving cabinets, like you can take from whoever, right? Okay.
Yes. Okay. And that's more of a customer preference, right? Because you're like, okay, do you want them paint grade? Do you want stain grade? So if it's stain grade, obviously the wood's going to be more expensive. So it depends on what the customers want.
Okay. Yeah, we should talk more about that because I like that. I like the idea of, especially, I mean, what are your predictions for like a recession, or if there is going to be, like, where do you think, because you saw how the pandemic made everybody start renovating their house,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Like, what do you think is going to happen in a recession from your vantage point?
I wasn't here on the last recession, so I don't have that fear that most people have. Obviously, there's going to be a slowdown on things, but there's always people that are going to be spending money regardless, right?
Actually, you know what? Luxury doesn't affect them.
No,
luxury, I mean, like high-end customers are still spending money because every normal people, when they put their money in the bank, they're not making money.
No.
Wealthy people invest, and so they're only spending money that they're not actively working on.
Right. And which is, so I was listening to a podcast yesterday or someone speaking, she said this is when the biggest transfer of wealth occurs in a recession. So everyone is wired differently. So everybody is wired differently, right? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, if my business and
our new little community is all wired. So so Yelitza and I are part of like this new mastermind, which I'm so excited about. And they think differently. So I'm sorry, I cut you off. So you were saying they're wired differently, right?
Absolutely. And like at this point, it's like us entrepreneurs and woodpreneurs, we need to be looking at the opportunities that are about to come. That's it. I would just say, just put yourself out there, take a look at what's in front of you, and don't be afraid. I mean, we are not. We just acquired 2 lots that we're going to be building on in a really nice and hot area of, Dallas. And people want to invest. People want to keep moving forward, and they're not. Everyone is like, just keep moving forward, because that's it. We just, if we get into a recession, we're going to come out of it eventually, because we always do. If you take a look at
it, always
data,
just
yes. And it's like 30% drop. Everyone gets scared. Some people put a hole. Other people make a lot of money. And then we go out of it and we go up again. So I would say just keep working, keep surrounding yourself with smart people, learn.
It's about how you reframe things too, right? Like you look at things as an opportunity, or look at what you were doing if you were communicating one way, maybe looking at it from a different perspective and communicate another value, right? And so,
Absolutely. So
because I bet you, I mean, listen, I'm just throwing an idea out there. Imagine like even more custom high-end white glove hand holding approach to renovation, where there's like hyper updates and you like log into like a private portal and you get to see like a live camera stream of your home being built, right? Like people would pay even, you do, look at that. You know what I mean? To be able to like provide a super white glove approach for a market, that would be, I mean, you make more money, right? You probably need less customers, but charge double or, you know, 50% more.
We're pretty boutique-like. So it's like we have a really niche down boutique and you know, just to be able to serve those customers. That's why maybe our business is not as scalable, but we're okay with it because other businesses will be, you know. So
all of our other businesses will be.
Yes. But this one is very niche down, very boutique-y, very like, you know, like you said, white glove, and we just want to serve that customer in that marketplace.
So cool. All right. So this is the part of the podcast where I give you any marketing or business advice. So is there anything that you'd like to talk through or work through, or a challenge that has come up in your business that you'd like some advice or help on?
I'm very humbled by, you know, this experience, and I admire what you've done. Your social media presence is very strong. And I actually told you, hey, if you have any advice on how to grow it, how to attract more people, how to make it more where people want to be in that community and that part of that brand, I would be extremely excited to hear what you have to say about that.
So the question is, how do I grow my, I mean, I don't know, put words in my mouth. How do I create a presence or a platform for myself and my business?
Yes. How do we improve what we're doing so far to catch more of that audience that we want to attract? Because I was surprised. I mean, you're doing it great, and we're always you know, looking for that feedback and help me and guide me, because we're all ears.
So I kind of learned a while ago that it's really about building your own platforms, right? And so like making yourself. So like a lot of people don't know this, but I kind of got my start in the 2000s in New York City. Me and my friends threw the best party in New York City on a Tuesday night. Like that was our thing. And so I kind of got used to, and then I kind of carried that over. I ran a nonprofit, so I would host galas and fundraisers. So I was always getting people drunk, raising money, having fun, picking the DJs. I was setting the tone. And so, I've been doing these Woodpreneur meetups, and it's just been great to just connect with people. And so like you're probably feeling like the high off of the world opening up. Although Texas has always been open, but you know, the world opening up and creating a platform for businesses. And what does a platform mean? The platform means that you either have your own show, you have your own podcast, you have your own event series, you host talks, you know what I mean? Like, but if you look at that, like in mind with your ideal target audience. So like, okay, if your target audience is about is luxury, right? Who else are they buying from? I mean, you know this, right? Like, what are the transactions before and after you? What kind of cars are they buying? What kind of beverages are they buying? And like literally go out and partner with them. And I like to do this in a way. So why don't you have like a BuildTX charity gala?
Love it.
Right. And then your charity gala is literally where you raise like $500,000, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million. And you literally get all of your clients, you get all of your contractors, you get all of your partners, and they all have to give you money because you make them money, and then you use that money for good. and
Amazing.
you and your partners become like friggin' celebrities, and you're doing good, and you're connecting your customers together, right?
That's amazing.
You could probably do it in one of your construction homes. Have a charity gala, like or you. So that's one idea. Another idea that you could do is like literally a design series where you literally walk people through the process of redesigning their home in luxury style, right?
That's amazing.
And then you get an architect, right? You get your designer, and you kind of have like this thing, and then you walk through some case studies, and at the end, people get an invitation to do a design consultation for like for a paid cost, and you say, listen, you could do it yourself, you could hire us, or you could hire somebody else to do it, but here's how you can do it. But we'll do the design for you. Like, we'll come up with the design, and here's the specs, here's everything. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
So like, but like, that's how like, I mean, I've gotten, because of the platforms that I've built in my career, you know, so many opportunities happen. And from a mindset perspective, I remember we talked about this in San Diego. I was like, listen, the more 100% you show up as yourself, then you start to, I mean, you know this, you attract your people.
Absolutely.
Right. And I mean, this is for everybody that's listening. And that's why I encourage everybody to be themselves. And that's, if you've listened to all of my podcasts, I'm like, throw your own open houses, throw your own events and networking events, because there's no better way as a business owner. Like, America is so pro-business friendly that if you like put yourself out there as being the center of a business and a community, and you bring people together, man, it is amazing.
And I think, and that's an amazing, and everyone has said it, right? Put yourself out there, bring people together.
Yeah. Like, so the best example, I haven't told this story. So one of my mentors, is a very, very, very high level real estate developer.
Perfect.
So what this person does is he donates to different charities, and whenever there's a gala, he helps to help pick who the person being awarded is, right? So he does that. And then the other thing that he does is he sells all the tables. He sells a bunch of tables. He invites people. So he'll sell like 5 or 10 tables. So he'll donate $20,000. He'll raise $50 or $75 or $100,000. And then, you know what he does? And so each of those tables have 10 people. So he literally goes to a party with 500 or 1,000 people, but he'll personally, through his network, have 100 people there. Isn't that crazy? And so all these people are feeling good. All these people are donating money. All these, right? And then, you know what he'll do after that? He'll rent out a rooftop at a top swanky hotel and have the after party where he's the host. And so there's all these deals flowing and all these relationships being formed. And who's at the center of it? This guy.
Yeah, smart.
Exactly. That's like, I mean, for the Woodpreneur community, that's literally the 2.0 of business, 3.0 of business, is where you're at the center of other people making money.
Yeah.
It becomes less about you.
No, because at the end of the day, it's like you add value, you help people, you bring them together, everyone wins, you're winning. So it's just like that. He doesn't have a scarcity mindset.
No.
That's it. That's what you have to kill, the scarcity mindset.
Okay, so you got your advice. So you got your you're gonna put together a charity event.
Yes.
And then you're gonna start hosting some networking series.
Yes.
Which can lead to a design consultation.
Yeah, could be networking series to design consultations, networking series to small masterminds,
Yep.
Hey, people want to learn how to invest. I can teach them that too. So it's like
Perfect.
so many things that we can do
So
for
many
them.
things, so many things. And you start to build a community of people that are like, if they're investing in you, they're making more money. They need to put more money back into their house.
Right.
Then they're hiring you to do that.
Absolutely. It's just like it just, it flows because one of the companies that we have, it's an investment firm and we raise money to put on new builds, additions, full gods, you name it, remodels. So it's just like a funnel. It's like
Yeah.
funneling them through.
So cool. Yelitza, thank you so much for sharing your story. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me here. And I guess I will see you in San Diego soon.
Yeah. So, hey, how can people follow up? What's your Instagram and what's your website?
Okay. So my Instagram is BuildTX Solutions, BuildTX Solutions. And then my website is www.buildtx-solutions.com.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, follow her Instagram. It's really on point. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Perfect. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the Woodpreneur podcast, the #1 podcast for the business and marketing side of the lumber, woodworking, hardwood, flooring, and sawmill industry. If you like what you heard, please give us a 5-star rating and review. You can also tap into our community by visiting woodpreneurlife.com. Once again, that's woodpreneurlife.com.